Hey everyone, Lee here from Jersey Micro Racer and Team Atomic. And tonight I am building some of the new Atomic Dust Guard or Dust Proof ball diffs. We have them in two color options, silver and black or gold and black. Obviously they need to be assembled, and when you first look at the package it's a little intimidating. But they go together very fast and very easy. So what I'm going to do is I figured I would just go ahead and video the process of building one of the diffs. I'll show you how I do it. It does come with steel balls, and we have a ceramic ball option. On this particular diff, I'm going to go ahead and just build it with the steel balls. As you can see, I've built some other ones with ceramics. I got spare steel balls sitting in this little container. Just a heads up, it does not come with a wheel adapter. And the idea behind that was if you bought an MRZ and you have the stock gear diff, it's the same wheel adapter that goes with the stock gear diff. And most of these adapters are universal, so whatever car you have, whatever your stock wheel adapter was, it will work on the axle on this ball diff. So let's go ahead and dig in and see what we got here. I'm just going to go ahead and dump everything into here. And now we'll separate everything. There's my axle. Use caution. The pin is not secured in there, so you may have to, if it's not in the hole in the axle, there's two pins that come in the package. You may have to insert the pin. It's not a big deal. It only takes a second to slide it in there. And let's see. I've got it in place there now. So one thing you'll learn real fast working on this stuff is tweezers are your friend. There's one of the dust guards, the other dust guard, and these are the assorted parts that you're going to need to assemble the diff. There's an O-ring, 53 tooth spur is what comes with it. Your pressure plates. The hub that is actually, this is kind of what makes this thing a dust proof, is this hub here that retains the balls. You've got two bearings that come with the diff that you'll use during assembly. A couple more little parts. You're going to need 6 of these screws, and that one, who knows where that one went. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And these screws are used to secure the spur in place with the dust guards. You'll see when we get to that point. And then you got a C-clip here that's going to retain your bearing in place. Alright, I think that's about it, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm using Atomic ball diff grease, and what I do, some guys will actually put grease in the palm of their hand and they'll drop the balls there and rub it around to get the grease on them. But what I do is I just use the lid to this. This is a plaque smacker. You can get these at like your local Walmart or store like that, Walgreens, you know, Rite Aid, whatever. It works really good for building diffs and dealing with the ball diff grease. So I just put a little grease on there. I smear it in the top of the cap, and then what I do is I just, if I was to use the ceramic balls, I would just open the bag and drop the balls right in there, but because I'm using the steel balls, I'm just going to go ahead and drop them in here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So then what I'll do is just kind of smear the grease all over here. Now you have two options. You can use all the balls in this hub, and it'll give you, it's kind of gives you a more stable setup. Or you can cut it back and use 6, and you just, you orient it 2 here, 2 there, and 2 there, and it'll give you a little more aggressive steering. But in my experience, the MRZ is pretty aggressive steering as it is, so I'm going to go for a more stable setup. And I haven't had any cars on the track yet with these diffs, so we'll see how it is, and if I want to tune it, I'll remove some of the balls. Alright, let's get started. You're going to take an O-ring, place the O-ring over the axle, put it up against the pen there. Then you're going to take your tensioner, screw it on, and you want the O-ring pretty much right against the pen. This is the pressure plate retainer or tensioner, whatever you want to call it. This is going to go on the other side. It's got 2 notches that go over the pens. You just want to make sure that it does go over that freely, which it does. And what I do is, I've always got a little bit of grease on this thing, so I will just wipe a little bit of grease here on these 2 pieces, these 2 edges. So now when I insert my plate, and this plate is actually keyed, there's a flat spot on it. And if you look at it, you'll see the flat spot. And on this plate here, there's a little mark, and that's the flat spot on the plate. So you just want to make sure you line that up properly. And what you can do is you just drop the plate on. You can also just kind of spin the plate a little bit, it drops in place. Okay, we're good to go with that. So what I do is I use a PN foam car stand. It's perfect for working on diffs, building diffs. Just stick the axle in there. I'll stick that off to the side for a minute. Now I'm going to insert the balls in the hub here. Again, I'm going to use my dental tool. I'll wipe some of the grease off because we don't need a lot now. And you can just kind of stick the thing on top of the balls, and the ball stays right on the end there. I just gently push the ball in place. The grease prevents it from falling through. I generally do not go heavy on grease on my diffs. Again, this is a totally new diff setup for me, so I'm not sure what's going to happen when we get on the track, but I'm going to stick to what has worked for me in the past. Alright, all the balls are in place, and I usually just kind of wipe this around here just to evenly coat the inside of this. I will flip it over, and I will do the same thing on the other side. Just very, very lightly spread a little bit of ball diff grease on here. And that covers it. So I'll push this off to the side. Alright, and then what we do here, we just drop this in place on top of that plate, that pressure plate. Grab one of your bearings. Again, tweezers are a must when you're working on these 128 scale cars. Drop your bearing in there in the center of the hub. This holds the bearing. This retains the bearing on the outer edge of the diff, and it's also the retainer for the pressure plate. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Let's go ahead and use a set of tweezers. Just rub a little bit of grease on those two edges. And again, this is keyed. There's a flat spot on the plate and a flat spot here on the retainer. Make sure that they're lined up. We're good to go. And that grease will hold that plate in place when you insert it on here. So we're just going to drop this in place. Grab the other bearing. Drop that in place. Take your little clip here, C-clip, multiple names for it, but take a pair of needle nose pliers, and I will just pop that in place and hopefully not launch it across the room. Alright, we're good. I'm telling you, these foam stands are so handy when you're rebuilding a diff or building a diff. Everything moves freely. I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the tensioner a little bit. So you'll see the packet comes with this little Allen key, and there's tiny holes that you can insert into the tensioner on the diff, and that's what you're going to use to tighten or loosen your diff when it's on the car. Alright. Everything's moving smoothly. We're going to go ahead and insert the axle back into the stand. Now we're going to assemble the spur. It is marked 53 tooth, so some of our spec classes require you to run the PN Racing yellow spur, and most of our local clubs allow you to run whatever diff you want as long as your spur is marked clearly that it's a 53 tooth. We've been allowing it, so I will be throwing this on one of my super stock cars. You just drop the dust guard in place on top of the spur, and this is where these screws come in. I'm using one of the magnetic screwdrivers that comes with an MRZ kit. And I'll just gently screw this in place. I'm not tightening it down all the way yet. This dust guard is pretty thin material, so I want to make sure I have all three screws in place, and then I'll gently tighten it down just snug. No need to over tighten this at all. If you do, you're gonna run into issues. Alright, we've got all three in place. So again, I'm just gonna very lightly tighten it down until it's just snug. Alright, we're good to go there. Just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Hopefully you can see where it's marked, 53 tooth, right there at the top. Now what I'm doing is when I put this on the diff, I make sure that the marking on the spur faces inside. Otherwise you have to pull the tire off if you're going through tech inspection so they can see what the spur is. So again, I always make sure that my marking is on the inside of the diff. So this is just going to drop right over the axle. There's some notches on the back of this hub that the spur fits over. And then we're going to take the other dust guard, drop it in place, and again, same thing. Three screws secure it. And we're just about done here. And same thing here, I'm not going to completely tighten these screws down until I get all three in place, and then I'll just gently tighten them down, and do not over tighten. Alright, got all three screws in place. Now we'll just lightly tighten them. The way I'm doing this is pretty much when the screw stops turning, I'm not tightening it any more than that. I don't think it's going to be necessary. And that's that. We have a completed atomic dust-proof ball diff here. And I'll tell you what, these dust guards, the tolerances are pretty tight here. It's cool. I think you're going to get a little more time out of these before you have to do maintenance on them. They're not going to get as dirty as some of the other diffs do. Very cool, very unique design. We're also going to have 51 tooth and 52 tooth spur option for it. So let's throw an adapter on. I've got one of the adapters from one of the stock gear diffs that came with the car. You can, if you have a Kyosho, stock Kyosho diff, whatever you have, the adapter will fit on here. You're just going to throw your adapter right on, and you would tighten it down on the car. And again, same concept as the other diffs out there. You use the Allen key that comes with it, and it's keyed. There's a couple little holes here. You just drop the Allen key into the hole. You would hold the wheels in place, and you can just tighten or loosen your diff. I will show you real quick. I've got a gold version here. These things are beautiful. Here's one of my this is my 3500 mod limited edition car, and I've got the silver and black diff on it. I'm using the atomic hard-coated pinions, which this combination is just butter smooth. And I have my 102mm pan car here, and as you can see, I've still got some rubber on the inside of the body, but I do have one of these ball diffs on this too. So that pretty much covers it, guys. I hope this helped you out. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact me. You can email me at jerseymicroracer@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on my Facebook profile, Lee Morey, or you can send me a message on my Jersey Micro Racer page on Facebook. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Have a good night.